So today we're in section 2.4, variables and equations. The first thing we need to talk about is our keywords. Keywords for different operations. So if I say addition, a keyword for addition would be sum. What do I say? 2 blank 2 equals 4. What do I say? 2 plus 2. So plus would be a keyword. More than, added to, total. Those are some keywords for addition. What are some keywords for subtraction? Just tell me. Subtracted by, minus. What's another one? Less than, fewer than, difference. Okay, so those are some keywords for subtraction. What about multiplication? Multiplication. Times, product, multiplied by, all right. What if I said twice? Does that mean multiplication? Twice? To double something? Yeah. Even triple, you could say that. What about division? Not many for division, but what can I say? Divided by? What else? Starts with a Q? Quotient. So, divisible, yeah. All right, really divided by and quotient are going to be your main ones. So given those key words, all right, we're going to look at example 1 and write the verbal sentence as an equation. I need you to write the sentence in your notes because your notes aren't going to make sense unless you have an equation. So go ahead and next to A, you need to write this sentence. The sum of x and 6 is 9. All right, the sum of x and 6 is 9. And as you're writing that sentence, you might even go ahead and catch on to the key word that's in there that tells you what operation it is. Okay, so let's talk about that in just a minute. I want you to go ahead and write these 4 sentences down, all 4 of them, A, B, C, and D. But please make sure you at least skip 1 line, preferably 2 lines in between each one, so we can write the equation and solve it using mental math. Okay, so the sum of x and 6 is 9. We need to first look for the operational key word. What word in that sentence tells me the operation? Which word? Sum. So the sum of x and 6. And then where you see the word and, okay, that's where you can plug in the operation. So sum, you said, means addition. So we've got x plus 6 equals 9. X plus 6 equals 9. X, plug in the plus sign, 6 equals 9. The difference of 12 and y is 9. The difference of 12 and y is 9. So difference is my key word. What would be my equation? Does anybody have it? Anybody think? 12 minus y equals 9. Very good. All right, I want you to try to do C and D, okay? So you're going to have that key word out front, plug it in where you see the word and write the equation. The product of -4 and p. Okay, so product means what? What does product mean? Multiplication. So do I do -4 times p with an x? No. Times p like this? No. Or do I do it with a dot or parentheses? No. I don't need even parentheses. All I need to write is -4p. Okay? Remember, a number and a variable multiplied together is just written together like that. I don't need any parentheses. -4p equals 32. All right, what about quotient of n and 2 is 9? What did you write? Someone raise your hand. Avery?
N divided by 2 equals 9.
Very good. N divided by 2 equals 9. And you could write it with a division sign or as a fraction. Did anybody write it as a fraction? Anybody in here write it as a fraction? Y'all all did the division sign? Yeah. Okay, no problem there. All right, so now let's go back to the beginning because we can actually solve these. All right, what number, so wherever you see the variable now, all right, so let me change my highlighter. Wherever you see this variable, x, y, p, and n, wherever you see that variable, I want you to insert the phrase, what number? So on A, we're going to say, what number plus 6 equals 9? And we can solve this mental math because we know what number plus 6 equals 9? 3. So next to that, I want you to write x equals 3. X equals 3. On B, 12 minus what number equals 9? It's 3 again, but now y equals 3. So we have to say, specifically state, the variable equals whatever value it is. I want you to go ahead and try C and D. Anybody figure out C?
Yep.
What do you think? Wame?
-8.
Whoa, -8. Why did he say -8 though?
Two negative.
Jay? Because if I want to end up with an answer of positive 32, I have to multiply two negatives. Who got -8? Man, you guys are awesome. Good job. All right, now on D, what number divided by 2 equals 9? Tell me. It is 18. It's 18. N equals 18. All right, so we use mental math to solve. Good news, there is no work to show on these. We are basically being asked to use those mental math skills to solve. All right, so that's example 1. Now in example 2, we're testing solutions. You have a section on your homework tonight where you will write the original equation. So go ahead and write the original equation in your notes, and you're going to write it twice. X minus 5 equals 2. All right, we're not going to do this third one down here. We're not going to do C. We're just going to do A and B. All right, X minus 5 equals 2, and we're going to test the two solutions. So, first solution, possible solution, is 9. So if I plug in 9 minus 5 equals 2, well, what is 9 minus 5?
4.
It's 4. So, third step, 4 does not equal 2, and I answer no. Okay, so now I have answered. Is it a solution? My answer is no, and my proof is 4 does not equal 2. All right? Make your substitution for 7. Now, and then answer yes or no. Make sure you simplify both sides. Okay, substitute 7 for x. So yeah, 7 minus 5 is 2. So I say 2 equals 2 and yes. Did you write that on your paper? 2 equals 2 and yes. So on your homework assignment, that's what you need to write. Either yes or no and simplify both sides. All right? All right, example 3. In example 3, we've actually already done this in example 1. But now what I want you to do is on your paper, I want you to go ahead and write each one of these equations for A, B, C, and D. And again, skip a line in between so we can go ahead and answer these using mental math. All right, so let's go through the list. What number plus 3 equals 11? Don't just write 8. Okay, so this is the important part. On your homework assignment tonight, you write the original equation, and then you're going to write x equals 8. Simple enough. Okay? Do B, C, and D. Just the same way. M equals blank, T equals blank, Y equals fill in the blank. Okay, so 16 minus what number equals 9? M equals 7. 5 times what number equals 20? 4. So even though T equals 4, even though that T was on the other side, I know that kind of seems backwards, 20 equals 5T, but we still treat it the same way. Now, yes, that is division. What number, it's just, I don't know, a little typo in there or something. Sorry about that. But what number divided by 6 equals negative 3? Damn, you guys are good. Yes. Negative 18. Negative 18. All right, y equals negative 18. Very good. So yeah, so that's it for example 3. Now in example 4, we're going to have a scenario here. And I think you do have, I think, 2 of these, if I remember right, on your homework tonight. Go ahead and turn in your books to page 86. I want you to read the question with me. Go ahead and turn in your books to page 86. So we're going to read the example at the bottom of the page. It says, go-kart rides cost how much? $5 at each at a county fair. During the first day of the fair, the go-kart operator takes in a total of $1,000. How many times did the people ride the go-karts that day? Write and solve an equation to find the answer. All right, so here's basically how I teach word problems and how we set it up. An equation always has what? an equal sign. So that's what I start with. So leaving it blank is just totally out of the question, because you know if you're writing an equation, it's going to have an equal sign, right? It's going to. It has to. And it also has to have a total. The total, we're going to write on the right side of the equal sign. I think that visually that just works a little better, although it doesn't matter. So did they give me a total here?
Yes.
$1,000. So right there, I've already accomplished half of the equation. But now I know that some combination of a variable and a number in an operation is going to get me to that total of $1,000. So what other information in the problem does it give me that might help me with that combination? Wame? Okay. Well, yeah, but that's not really an operational word. It's saying that many times. But what information does it give me? $5 per ride, right? $5 per ride. So now I have to figure out, I know that 5 relates to the variable somehow. So would I add $5 each time someone rides? Or could I multiply that by the number of times they ride? Obviously, it's not division or subtraction because I'm getting to some total. So if we're having trouble figuring out if it's addition or multiplication, here's my suggestion to you. Go ahead and plug in just an example, like plug in just a random number. Let's say 5 people ride. Would I do 5 plus 5, or would I do 5 times 5 to get the total amount of money? If 5 people ride at $5 each, how much money did they make? $25, exactly. Well, what did you do to get there? Did you multiply those numbers or did you add them? I multiplied them. All right, so if we just plug in like an example like that, just kind of in our head, all right, well, I'm not really sure which operation it is, so let's just pretend that 10 people rode. Well, it doesn't make sense, 5 plus 10 to get 15. That doesn't make sense. So I know that it has to be a multiplication. So 5x equals 1,000. Now, the idea here, because we're not learning until 2.5, the actual process of solving an equation, is that we can solve this using mental math. And we can do that because $1,000 is a pretty even number. Would you agree? Well, we might not know exactly what 1,000 divided by 5 is, but 5 divided by 10. What's 5 divided by 10, or 10 divided by 5, I mean?
2.
It's 2. So the 2 replaces that 10. Okay, and then how many zeros are left over? 2. So I can use my rule of dividing by powers of 10. I can basically divide the non-zero numbers and then bring down the number of zeros that are left over. So x equals 200 people, 200 riders. All right, and anytime I solve a word problem, I need to make sure that I label that word problem. On your homework tonight, it looks like we have 2 word problems, numbers 32 and 34, that will basically reflect this type of example. So you need to set up an equation and then solve. I'm looking for both of those things. And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 2.4.